yeah, I love me them fighting games. They are one of my favorite genres. Fighting games come in many shapes and flavors, each being unique to itself, kinda like pie. Most fighting games do follow a standard method, but some of the best fighting games are the ones with the weirdest ideas. And if there is ever a company that can take off from a wacky concept and create a game that is fun, it ultimately lands on Nintendo. Welcome everybody, I'm Sit Back Reviews, and this week's review is an outlandish fighting game where you fight your opponent from a distance. In ARMS.
Hold it!
Are you a misfortunate rando that just happened to click this video? Well, if you enjoy watching, please hit the like button and subscribe for more. You can also hit the bell, but we all know you're just gonna refresh your recommendations. But please help me reach my biggest goal this year of 1K. Hefty goal. Now, that's enough time out of me, so back to the video. ARMS was a highly anticipated game back in 2017. Many fighting game junkies were craving that combo adrenaline, and at the time, the Switch didn't have that many fighting games. Plus, Smash Ultimate wasn't going to release till like 2018. So many Smash fans were desperate for a fighting title.
I don't need it.
So when Little Old ARMS released, it immediately got positive reviews and a lot of people loved the concept. But being that ARMS is officially done with DLC, and we are getting a ARMS fighter in Smash Ultimate that I'm hyped for, I thought this was the best time to go check out this bizarre fighting game and see how Nintendo can make extendable ligaments into a game. Huh. You know, the concept is gross the more I think about it. Like, what if you can unravel your arm and stretch it further? At least I can high-five Shaq now. The arcade story is about the ARMS Grand Prix taking place at different locations, Street Fighter style, as every fighter is competing to win the champion belt. There are 3 events that can happen at the end depending on the difficulty. Easy mode is the standard ending where you fight the Commissioner Max Brass and win the belt after beating him, whereas medium difficulty is the same, but out of the blue a random object called Headlock appears and mind controls Max Brass, so you have to beat Headlock off him. But after doing so, he goes back to normal and you win the champion belt. The last ending is on the hardest difficulty. Before fighting Max Brass, he suddenly gets his ass whooped by Dr. Coyle. So the fighter has to fight her instead, but once she's defeated, she calls in her secret weapon Headlock for the final match, only to lose and throw a pissy fit. At least Max Brass is fine. The different finales is really cool. I like when fighting games throw in random events to spicing things up, but I only did the medium and hard endings once. Those fights were super difficult, and I chose my sanity rather than going insane. The only other story to ARMS is the world building Biff tells before the match, like the ARMS lab researching this stretchy phenomenon, and the history to it. Speaking of Biff, I love this little announcer. He commentates every match and gives plot to every character's purpose in joining the Grand Prix. Only wish he had his smooth voice from the trailers rather than that little squiggles he makes in the game.
Oh no!
ARMS is kinda similar to Punch-Out. You view your fighter from behind while you dish out the pain, but the extendable ARMS wield more movement with punches. The intended way Nintendo wanted everyone to play ARMS was with the Joy-Cons, so you felt your fist doing the twisties and the turnies. I did try this for the review, but I noticed that occasionally punches wouldn't go as I planned to, and sometimes motion controls can wake up on the wrong side of the bed with a case of assholeitis. So I switched to the Pro Controller and I had more maneuverability with precise controls. Yet I felt like I betrayed the concept of ARMS and chose the luxuries rather than the authentic way to play. Honestly, if I wasn't reviewing ARMS, I prefer playing with motion controls, just because I like the sensation of landing a punch. ARMS carries the standard practices of most fighting games. You can block, grab if you throw both arms out, and turn into Jotaro with a rapid-fire rush special. You can also charge up your fist to do stronger / elemental attacks, and dead arm opponents like older brothers. ARM's wow factor isn't just about stretchy fighting, but the assortment of fists you can equip. The multitude of fists come in many varieties and elements. You can straight up use a boxing glove that shocks, a rapid fire bullet fist, or even a shield. But some fists can nullify punches because they are stronger. The collection of unique hands are abundant, and you can unlock more fists through a minigame. But you can only set 3 of them to a fighter, then slap 2 of those suckers between each round. It adds a lot of diversity, because you can mix and match your playstyle to whichever fist you prefer, or what would work better for the fighter. Speaking of which, every fighter has special abilities, making each one Grandma's special little gumdrop, such as Bite having Bark, or Dr. Coil being able to charge up for a 3rd fist.
That's illegal.
The stages are all different too. The layout and the hazards in them will often make you think on your toes. Maybe you'll want to jump on cars for height, or tactically use a special in the rush juice so neither you or your opponent benefit from it.
I am the smartest man alive!
But ARMS also has a couple of minigames to spicing things up. You can play Skill Shot where you hit targets and your opponent to earn the most points. B-Ball where your opponent is the ball and you can Kobe their ass or slam dunk that bitch. V-Ball is where you play volleyball with explosives. There's also team battles that get pretty chaotic because you're tied to your partner. The 100 Goober fight where you fight as many of these gray goobers before you fall. And lastly, Headlock Scramble where you try to wear headlock to beat your opponent with 6 arms while listening to a dwarf trying to jerk off. We can all tell that ARMS is a beautiful game. It has that cartoony roundness like in Mario 3D World. The stages are fascinating with their background elements, showing what type of doohickeys that surround the arena. Also, the fighters are downright amazing character designs. They may be dressed to fight, but the fact that their arrangement is all different is sugoi, especially by the object that symbolizes each character's arms. Nintendo really thought up as many items that look like spirals or can stretch, and slapped that sucker on a board and said, "Hey, design a character off of them ramen noodles. Should we name her Min Min, sir? Yeah, the internet will love her." Now some designs are way too out of hand, like Twinto be looking thick, boy! But in my opinion, the thickest one of all is Lola Pop. God damn. The fists are also crafted really well. They all have this sleek look to them that represents what it can do. There is also an abundance of charm, like the audience who wears the mask of the fighter they are rooting for, or the funny notes on the badges and concept art. The majority of the charm comes from Biff though. Like I stated before, this little guy adds a humorous commentation before every match. The soundtrack to ARMS is pretty solid too. Most of them are boppers that fuel you to fight, but the majority has this one tune that is like in every song. It's not a problem, and to be honest, I like the different iterations of it, but it is funny that at some point in the song, you're gonna hear that one beat. ARMS is a great fighting game. They already add in an array of zany gameplay mechanics that work so well with each other, but it's not a perfect game because there are some flaws, like the arcade mode's higher difficulties, pushing the player to need more precision with a controller rather than motion control antics that sadly betray the purpose of ARMS. ARMS also got a tad bit boring over time, yet take my opinion with a grain of salt because I did play ARMS for quite some hours. In general, ARMS is a game worth playing. It's different to the fighting genre, and fun to beat up your opponents with elastic warfare. I really do implore you to play it because it is a game worth experiencing, but I think the biggest reason to play it is for Lola Dummy Thick Pop. Thank you everybody for watching. Like I said, please go check out ARMS. It's a really fun fighting game, and if you're a fan of Smash and you want to brush up on some history, go play it and learn about who's the new character getting. We still don't know who's the new character, so mysteries. But if you are new and enjoyed the video, please hit the like button and subscribe to help support the channel. Also, my social medias are down below, so if you would like to give those a follow, could give those a follow and see what I do. I don't do much, but that's enough extending and stretching. So, like always, have a great day and goodbye.